Now friends, the mind of yours or anybody's consists of impulses, feelings, emotions, your likes and dislikes. This is your mind. All types of emotions rest in the mind. Beyond the emotions of the mind, beyond your feelings, there is another equipment called the intellect. The intellect is that which thinks, which reasons, which judges, which decides. So there is a feeling equipment, there is a thinking equipment. A simple example to demonstrate this is, you offer a sweet to a diabetic person. He's fond of sweets. He likes sweets. His mind says, go get it. His intellect, his reason says, no. Because doctor is prohibited from sweets. So there's a conflict. You must understand there are two aspects. Even an alcoholic, he craves for alcohol. His mind craves, but his intellect keeps telling him, I don't think you're doing the right thing. So there's a conflict. The intellect is that which thinks, reasons, judges. Thinking is an art, a skill, a technique. Hardly anybody understands. Just because you're 30, 40, 50, 40 years, you believe that you can think. I'm not suggesting I'm the only person who can think. But have you gone through the process of this technique? Have you learned the skill? Thinking is like playing golf or bridge or the violin. You've got to learn it and practice it. Have you learned the art of thinking? Have you practiced it? That's the question. Now, everything is in a herd instinct. The whole world follows a herd instinct. You all went to primary school and high school. Why did you go to school? If anybody thought of it, I'd go to him or her. And then you went to the university. Why did you go to university? Because everybody goes to the university. Then you go into a profession of business. Why? What else to do? After the degree, you go into a profession of business. Then what did you do? Got married. Why did you get married? There are 6 reasons why anybody gets married to anybody. If you know 1 or 2 of them, I salute you. And I'm not going to tell you because you have done the damage already. There's no point. It's too late. Why does anybody get married? I'm not saying I'm a married girl. My daughter is sitting here. Put up here. I'm going to get married. But anybody steps back and says, why should I go to university? And then think, yes, if I won't go to university, I won't have enough knowledge to get out of this world. I'll be left behind. I think I need some knowledge. Okay, go. When I get married, step back, think for heaven's sake. No, everything was on a herd instinct. You do what your predecessors have done. After marriage, what did you produce children? Why? What do you do after marriage? You just produce. Everything that you do is herd instinct. If there's one person here who thinks and says, what am I doing? He's outstanding. After that, getting into professional business, what do? Go to Kellogg's for an education training. Why? Everybody knows it. Think. I'm not saying Kellogg's is no good, but this is the last picture I can afford it. So I wouldn't have said it yesterday. So, what are people doing? Brookhaven National Laboratory, the people are researching. I said, why are you guys researching? They're research scholars. They're all going to deep research. An auditorium bigger than this, I was addressing them. I said, this is herd instinct. They all looked up. There's some guy, strange guy, telling the top scientists in the world that they're doing. Why are you researching? The scientists started research. For what? If I may ask any one of you, what is the research for? Why does anybody research in this world? Anybody can answer the question? What are the scientific researches for? Nobody knows. Yes, sir?
Understanding and knowing.
It's just understanding. They do research and found out penicillin, found out streptomycin, found out the computers for human comfort, human peace and happiness, for a better life. That's not what has happened. The end result is not that. There's no peace in this world now. What is it now? Vis-a-vis 50 years back, 100 years back, the quality of life was much better then. With all the scientific developments, with all the research, the end result is not there. I asked them to think about that. Quality control. Find out what's happening. I'm not against, I have a scientific base myself. I said, I'm not against it. But what is the purpose of it? So you've got to think. Thinking is an art, a skill, a technique. Here it was. The body is that which acts. And the mind or the intellect drives the body to act. The body by itself cannot act. So you've got to propel. The actions of the body is propelled, compelled, impelled by either the mind or the intellect. If you act at the level of the mind, your actions are impulsive. If you direct the actions by the intellect, it's discriminatory. Now, as you lose your intellectual supervision, you turn into an emotional person, eccentric, hysterical, insane. Here you are. This is the same person, 100% intellectual. If you drop the intellectual participation, you become emotional, eccentric, hysterical, insane. So, since I asked this question all over the world. Throughout the world, from Auckland to Toronto, everybody says people are between B and C. That means there is 40 to 50% insanity with everybody. So you've got to wake up to realities, to build an intellect. This is called self-management. Self-management is intellect directing the mind. Period. Nothing else. Time management means work management. Work management means self-management, and self-management is intellect directing, policing, directing, controlling the mind's activities. Unfortunately, I don't have time. If I were to tell you the havoc that your mind does, it's not funny. What your own mind does. You must understand suicides are by minds. Anything that is happening, right up to suicide, it's your mind that is doing it. Your own mind. And you're pampering the mind, nourishing the mind. The intellect is left completely unattended to a point of form. There is no education institution which develops the intellect. What you're gaining is intelligence. What the educational institutions, including this institution, is giving you is intelligence, knowledge. And with that knowledge you're making a living. That's what animals do. They have a built-in expertise. An eagle knows how to conquer its prey. A panther knows how to conquer its prey. But in the humans don't know. So they learn an expertise, a particular branch of knowledge, just to make a living. You go to the medical school, you learn medicine only to train on people who do not know medicine. You learn engineering to train on people who do not know engineering. You go to business institution to learn business, to train on people who know less. This is making a living. Life is not just making a living. This is the life of animals. As human beings, you've got to do something else. You've got to rise to the dignity and prestige of a human being. Not follow a herd instinct. Wake up. You've got to wake up. Otherwise you're in trouble. I've been talking to the United States, I've been telling them, do you realize 67% of married people are divorced? Somebody corrected me 3 days back, Swami, you're wrong. I said, I beg your pardon. He said, it's 70%. I said, thank you very much. No. Advanced country. He said, developed country, this one. And Indians and other Eastern countries are desperately trying to catch up with that 70%. You want to be a developed person. You're underdeveloped. You can't live with your partners. What do you do this for? You got to think. A scientist in Boston, he's rated in this country as one of the top scientists. His wife brought him to me. He can't handle anything in life. She brought him to me and said, I got a shock. And she said, Swami, will you put some sense into him? I said, why? And he's nodding, my wife is right, my wife is right. He can't control his temper, his blood pressure is shooting up. He can't control his alcohol intake, his liver is packed up. Any little crystal breaks in the house, he'll be talking about his next 10 weeks. There's no control of the mind. He's a brilliant scientist. What you're getting from external sources, from educational institutions and universities is knowledge, period. You become more brilliant. That is all. But you can't control your life. Even with the knowledge, it's not every doctor, every surgeon that finds out transplant of a kidney. It's not every engineer that can build a Eiffel Tower. You need an intellect. Intellect is developed by oneself. Intelligence you get from an external source. You've got to find out. No time management is possible unless you have an intellect. You're kidding yourself. You're wasting your time. And people tell me, Swamiji, you know what? They're trying to impress me. I work from 7 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the night. That shows you're very willing. Doesn't impress me. It's like the guy saying, I earn a lot of money. Anybody can earn a lot of money, but I'll be impressed if you can give away a lot of money. It's not what you earn that matters, how much you give away. It's not how much of knowledge that taken that matters, but how much are you using. That matters. Brilliant scientist. His liver is packed up. His blood pressure is shooting up. But what's use of all the knowledge? It's not an exception. Everybody goes through this. Therefore, friends, if you want time management, you've got to use your intellect.